Congressman Roy gets in a screaming match with this Democratic witness over the incompetence of the Biden administration, and in his words, they were killing Americans. You guys have got to see what he's got to say.
Thank the chairman. I thank the chair for calling this hearing. Mr. Nowrester, I assume that when you say you'd like a future with more Americans, that includes Jocelyn Ungary. Do you know Jocelyn Ungary? Have you talked to her mother, Alexis?
I know her. She was murdered by an illegal immigrant in Houston.
People who were released into this country with a notice to appear in court did not appear and then violently killed a young woman and is now dead. And her mother lost her. And she's one of dozens, hundreds, thousands of examples of Americans who are dead because of policies that were advocated for by the Biden administration and people parading around as libertarians. Ms. Vaughn.
Parading around as libertarians? What does that mean?
It means exactly what it means, Mr. Nowrester. It's my time, not yours.
That's a personal offense.
It is my time, not yours. I don't have any time to listen to libertarian claptrap.
I know you don't have any time to listen.
That is killing Americans, because that's what you're doing, and you're hiding behind
killing
a brand
Americans?
that is resulting in the death of Americans.
That's a heck of a thing to say to somebody, sir. That is totally false, and I take exception to that.
It's true, and everybody in America knows it.
I have not killed anybody, sir, and that is really exceptional.
Ms. Vaughn, when you go talk to Alexa Ungary and talk about her daughter no longer being with us.
Beneath you as an individual to say that to somebody,
Ms.
sir.
Vaughn, on June 25th, 2024, DHS Office of Inspector General released a report entitled CBP has limited information to assess interview waived non-immigrant visa holders. Are you familiar with that report?
Yes.
In that report, is it not true? It says here that the report found the Biden administration expanded a COVID-era policy of waiving visa applicant interviews and fingerprint collecting to reduce visa backlogs and staffing shortages, which worsened at the peak of the pandemic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Biden took this COVID-era policy to admit over 7 million foreign nationals from across the globe into the United States. Does that sound correct?
The numbers in later years are more like 9 million a year.
It's certainly significant numbers of people, millions, without having DHS interview them.
Yes.
DHS failed to fingerprint an unknown number of visas applicants during the 2020 to 2023 period, correct?
Yes, and actually part of that responsibility is on the State Department as well.
Do you find this discovery particularly troubling?
Absolutely. It underscores how much the Biden administration and others before it emphasized swiftness in processing, just moving these applications through, getting to yes, rubber stamping approvals over making the correct decision. And it emphasizes that vetting is not just a matter of looking people up in a database that may or may not have relevant information to the decision. Interviews are a way for them to establish the credibility of the applicant and whether they actually qualify for the visa.
I want to ask you about the visa waiver program as well. It ostensibly does not require an alien to possess a visa to enter the country, correct?
Correct.
And it's a gaping vulnerability in our legal immigration system, right?
Inherently, yes.
So with respect to that, are you familiar with the South American theft groups, particularly Chile, who commit burglary tourism through the visa waiver program?
I've heard a lot about them from law enforcement agencies.
For a time, Chile, a VWP program, refused to provide U.S. authorities the required background information on its nationals seeking entry into the United States despite entering into a security shared agreement in 2013. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
So I sent a letter to DHS Secretary Noem and State Department Secretary Rubio to alert them to Chile's abuse. I'd like to insert that into the record without objection.
Without objection.
And DHS informed my office that Chile is now apparently complying with the agreed upon security agreements. However, because so many Chilean criminals have established theft rings across the nation thanks to the VWP, these theft groups have recruited Chilean nationals with no criminal record to enter the U.S. through the VWP to commit burglary tourism. Are you familiar with that extension?
Yes, yes.
And it's a real problem. And this is the kind of thing that multiplies when we have a lack of seriousness on these issues, correct?
Correct, and it exists with Irish contractors in the Boston area as well. They totally exploit these
Last question here. With respect to the U visa program, that presents an opportunity for alleged illegal alien crime victims to obtain work authorization and protection from deportation, correct?
Yes.
And on January 6, 2022, the DHS OIG again released a report entitled USCIS U visa program is not managed effectively and is susceptible to fraud, correct?
Yes.
I could go through a whole litany of things, but I don't have the time to do that. But I'd like to just acknowledge that problem, that OIG has recognized another problem, and I'll just finish with this, since I represent the southwest corner of Austin. Don't blame me for the downtown Austin stuff. But Mr. Brown, I'd like you to be able to have a minute to expand just a little bit further on how that abuse of the U visa program affected your life because of what we allow to occur and what that did to you and your family.
My wife still has trouble talking about it, and it felt like we were under siege, and it was confusing. We had no idea what was going on, and if I didn't have the background that I have, a little bit of law, a little bit of Homeland Security, I'm not sure most people would even know what happened. That's my biggest concern, is that people who are victimized like this, they don't know. If they don't know that a U visa program exists, how will they ever know to ask for that discovery? We have some prosecutors who we know refuse to disclose or even certify U visas until after a case is concluded.
Gentleman's time's expired.
There's something called the Brady Doctrine.
Yep, the gentleman's correct. I appreciate the gentleman's testimony and sorry that that occurred to you. Yield back.
Chair recognizes Representative Scanlon.
Think of it this way. The Biden administration just wanted as many people in America as humanly possible. They didn't care how they got into this country. They could walk in through the southern border. They can walk in through the Canadian border. They can go in through our visa process without actually going through our visa process. I mean, how incompetent and how dumb do you have to be to not even fingerprint the people who are coming into this nation? You're letting them in without going through the checkpoints. The visa process is there for a reason, and the reason is to protect Americans, to make sure that the people walking down the street right next to them are not horrible criminals. These people are actually good people who are trying to do good for this nation. But I do have a theory as to why they were brazenly letting anybody into this country. Just think about this for a moment. What benefit does Joe Biden and Democrats have by having more people in this country? I don't know, maybe there could be more corruption, more fraud, especially when you enter the voting booth. Or maybe these people will remember, you know what, I got in under Biden's admin. They kind of just gave me a few perks. They gave me a few favors. Why don't I just keep voting for them? Because they're going to keep promoting me. They're going to keep allowing people like me to just live in freedom and I don't have to worry about getting deported. This is the life right here. Why would I ever vote against this? It seems to me, now maybe this is a conspiracy. I don't have any facts to back this up. But they were just importing voters, whether it be illegally, whether it be through this fraudulent visa process. But it makes sense, and that's the only theory I have, because how can you be that negligent with your duties and powers? You're supposed to represent your constituents, and all that you're doing by allowing anybody in through the visa process and not really checking them that hard, you're making this country a lot less safe and a lot less prosperous because our money is being spread thin between all these people. If I just took a plane to Germany, walked in through their borders, they're not just going to accept me willy-nilly. And even if they do allow me to get a visa there, I have to go through each and every step, and they're going to be very strict. And if I skip anything, they're going to kick me out. And rightfully so. That's how a country that has their head on straight will act. If you ask me, all these people who allowed this to happen should be tried for treason. They were working against America. If we had more congressmen like Chip Roy, this country would be a lot better off than we are today, as opposed to having people in Congress like Jasmine Crockett, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham. These people are actively working against America. We need more America First candidates because for far too long, our politicians have been putting America last, and it's time that that changes. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think of Chip Roy? Do you think he's one of the good ones? And who would you consider some of your most underappreciated people in Congress today? I'd love to know that. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.